There you guys, E51 Elgrand. Got something really nice new toy for it, for tuning, DIY kind of work at home. All started when I got an error code. I had another reader, car reader, but it won't do Elgrands. I mucked around wasting a bit of money on fault checking software and whatever. But basically I had to do a set of plugs. I've done a video online about changing plugs. First time took me about an hour. Second time took me about 25 minutes, and that's pulling everything out, all the air gear. I don't take off the manifolds or anything like that. But one tip I will mention just before I show you the sexy stuff is if you're doing plugs or anything like that, and when all your air gear's off or your pipes are off, if you're tempted to clean out your throttle housing, the throttle body, be really careful not to touch the butterfly. Don't by hand turn it. If you've got your battery connected, which you should always undo anyway if you're playing around with anything on the car, take your negative terminal off. But if you happen to leave that on and you've got any power running into the car, if you manually either flip the butterfly inside manually or do this, like rev it to open the butterfly up to spray carby cleaner, throttle cleaner inside, you can totally stuff the computer around. Some people actually replace the throttle body sensor and the throttle body itself from doing that. So a tip is, basically don't mess around with the throttle body, and make sure you've got your battery disconnected if you are going to do anything stupid. So a light little spray when the car's on is probably a better idea. It'll run rough and whatever, but if you if you rev it from here when the car's on, not the biggest deal. But if you push your fingers inside with the butterfly and play with the butterfly inside, you can throw it all out, and you can if you're lucky, you can get away with doing a reset on the ECU. If you're unlucky, buy new throttle body housing. So tip of the day: don't screw around with the throttle body housing when you've got all your gear off, changing plugs and doing other things. Anyway, new plugs are in, pretty happy with that, took no time at all. I went around and cleaned, I won't put my hands in too deep, I went around and cleaned all the sensors, all the different sensors, all the cam sensors and everything, pulled them all apart, gave them a little bit of special spray, electronic head contact cleaner. But when I got this new sexy toy to diagnose faults, I found a problem. There's a hole, I'm not going to put my finger in there, there's a hole there, and there's a knock sensor. So a knock sensor is a little electronic kind of, it's like a microphone, and it reads vibration or knocking in the cylinders. So good thing, protects you, lets the car know if it's doing anything silly. But I had a problem. I actually had mouse or field mice living inside the engine block, and they've got a little nest in there, all this crap and fur and junk, and they ate through the cables that attach the knock sensor to the block, which is a big hassle because, as you can see, you'll have to take off the whole top of the engine because this knock sensor is about back there deep and down there deep. So really buried. Like, you're probably looking at a $1,200 mechanic job to get it done. So at the moment I'm looking for a workaround. I'm going to use a transistor workaround to trick the car into believing it's got a knock sensor installed. Because I'm not into pulling a whole engine apart to pull out a $100 part. Alright, let's carry on with what I've got. Right, now I took a bit of a gamble. I bought a scanner, your typical car scanners. Didn't work very well. Now excuse the mess, I've got the car pulled apart a bit. This is the best thing ever. Take note of this. KKL, VAG, I always like a good VAG. VAG, anything's good. So VAG 409.1. So this is actually a connection for the car computer, and on the other end it has a USB, so that can go into any computer. So this cord is basically just plugged straight into the car. So what I'll do first, I've got a little laptop here, little toy. I'll just plug this baby in. Excuse the bad filming while I jostle around. I'll just get this baby plugged in. Alright, so we have cord in the little tablet, and then this is the best thing ever. See that? Nissan Data Scan. Great bloody program. I didn't know whether it was going to work because no one knows. If this was actually going to be a product that'll work on an Elgrand. So I kind of took the gamble and had a go on it. It's buy it online. Nissan Data Scan, and you need Nissan Data Scan 2. It's up to version 2.53. So look online for Nissan Data Scan 2 for the Elgrand 50, E50. I don't know about the 51, but it's got the same engine, so I'm actually going to say the 51 would work exactly the same. So that shouldn't be a drama. Yeah, right. So anyway, that's the Nissan Data Scan software. Doesn't look that impressive just to look at it, but it's bloody amazing. Alright, so I've plugged my VAG cable in. Got my VAG here. It's actually for, I think, VWs and that kind of thing, but it works anyway. So it's your standard kind of, you know, computer checking port. You can see it's live now because it's plugged into the computer. Now underneath your dash, just underneath the steering column, we'll get down low, and you can see in there, so right above the brake pedal, there's the terminal to plug this baby in. So this baby goes on there. Alright, just kind of give it a bit of a push on like that. Alright, we plugged it in. So now we're connected to the car's ECU, and I can show the ECU because I took it out before. See under here, all these wires and crap going in here, that's the back end of the computer, so that's the wiring loom for the car's computer. There's a little bracket here I can pull out and that'll pop the whole thing out. The car's on, so I won't do that. You can see my workaround I'm working on here. I've got a transistor, it's showing me what the voltages are doing, but I've got a transistor, 560 ohm transistor, going to a negative point, and I've wired it into the computer loom. The idea is the trick will be, you know, there's the bottom of the dash that hides all that junk down there normally, but the idea of this resistor trick is that it's halving the voltage, which is basically what the car's looking for with a knock sensor. So I'm trying to trick the car into believing that it's got a working knock sensor, because as I showed you before in the engine bay, screw that, I'm not pulling the whole engine apart for some $100 bloody thing. Right, the idea of taking out a knock sensor is probably not a good idea, but I haven't had one in this car for about two years, I'd say now. I remember my Nissan Skyline, I got an R34 over there, and another Nissan, as you can see, good old R34, and it had the same problem. We lived in this place called Reel in Victoria, and bloody mice, field mice everywhere. They ate all the electronics and all sorts of shit out of the 34, and they'd done the same to the Elgrand, and I only just discovered it after 2 years that they've destroyed this knock sensor. Alright, let's show you the beauty of this stuff. So we've got the software on, we're plugged in, we simply go over here, connect. Now you'll see it initializing, doing its thing, connected. Alright, I'll just get this in a better position so I can show you what it does. Now I've got a lot of glare going on here and whatnot, so you know, I could do a screen capture kind of setup with this, which would probably make more sense, but you can basically see it. They're the functions it does. It's got lots of extra stuff up the top here. It doesn't do many of them. It mainly just does the ECM. So we've got display data, data logging, self-diagnostic, so that shows your faults, and as you'll see if I press that, I've got a system fault P0325, which is a knock sensor. With this software I can clear the codes and I can retrieve the code. So I can clear codes, it's still going to show me that fault. So that's what I'm trying to fix down there with the resistor and stuff, which I haven't finished yet. Alright, so this groovy little software does all sorts of stuff. Idle adjustment, timing adjustment, active test, cylinder power test. The cylinder power test is an awesome little thing. I'll just quickly show you what it does. Right, that's all 6 cylinders firing perfectly, and what you'd use this for is trying to find if you've got a dead coil pack. So if one of your spark plug coil packs is on the blink, the computer's not smart enough to tell you which one. So all you got to do is come in here and I can turn the cylinders of the car off. That's number 1 off, the car's starting to vibrate, 2 cylinders off, 3 cylinders off, 4 cylinders are off. Now see that data, I've just stalled the car doing that, but that's okay. I'll turn the cylinders back on, start it back up. But as you can see, you see that screen when I was doing it, you get that nice level line at the top turning into a big chunky piece of crap. So I know that cylinder 1's good, cylinder 2's good, because it's giving me a readout where you can see the top line disappears almost right up the top there, which is good. But if cylinder 1 looked like that, it would probably mean I've got a dead, like a bad spark plug, or the electrics are faulty, a bad earth, or more likely one of the bloody spark plug coil packs. So great little tool, that part of it. I haven't needed to use it, but bloody great, loving that. Now you've got speed tests. You can do your quarter mile tests, log analyzers, display data. Now over here on the edge you've got some funky stuff here like work support. Amazing little piece of software, 60 something dollars. So here you can see this. I can clear the self-learn for the car. Look at that, done. I've just cleared the computer of all the stuff, you know, how people used to drive this car in Japan and shit. I don't want to know about that. And the air lean, give it a whack, and it'll start working on the ECU, and it's starting to lean my car out and basically just get all the factors right. I probably shouldn't be doing this at the moment because my car's not up to good temperature yet, and I'd really like to drive the car around a block before I do anything like this. Just to make sure the transmission, everything's warm. Give it a good 15-minute drive before you use this kind of software, and it'll make a big difference. You can see on the bottom here, you can reprogram your immobiliser keys. So you can go in there, get the pin code out of the back of your key, you can see the pin code, put that in there, and you can actually reprogram new keys and learn the keys off it. So bloody amazing stuff. I love the software, it's just the best shit ever. So yeah, lots of other stuff to do. Now it looks pretty impressive, say just data displayed, get a bit of info about how the car's performing. Check that out. Check that out. I've got everything going on here. RPM, you know, airflow, water temps, timing. So my problem with the knock sensor failing at the moment is it's retarding my timing a fair bit, which wastes petrol, so I don't like that. Cam sensors. Basically, you know, that's like your litre per mile kind of equivalent. Battery, voltages, and these little funky sensors down the bottom, more cam sensors and things like that. You can see even down here it's like lean, rich, all the sensors are picking up all different data from all over the car. And you know, and that looks sexy. Now all these dials here, I can program them to be exactly what I want. You've got a massive choice. This is just an example because it only fits on my little screen of, you know, you can see how many dials I've got going on down here. It's pretty sexy. But you can actually go into settings up the top here. Oh, I think I just closed the program, stupid. Big fat fingers. And you've got like preferences, and here I can go in and I can change all your basic settings, you know, kilometers, Celsius, all that kind of stuff. And you can do communications. It'll show you if you can't get a connect one, if you could buy one of these, and anyone with an Elgrand, bloody well buy one, don't be a tight ass. You can see up there you've got COM port 1. When this program installs the driver for the actual cord, if it doesn't work, it'll just be because it's COM port 1, 2 or 3 or 4. So just check the software and you'll see COM port 3. If you've got to fix this problem, go into your control panel in Windows, so that, you know, your control panel, that blue little icon down there, my fingers are too fat, that thing there, and go to devices and look for COM ports in your devices, and it'll tell you what that blue adapter, what COM Windows gave it. So Windows will give this thing a COM port. If it's not the right one, just change it in here, leave the DTR on, I don't even know what that means, pick the generic adapter, and it'll just work. It's just the most awesome little program, and you can do anything. Like I just disconnected it with my fat fingers again, so I'll just quickly get back in. Sorry about the bad camera work and the little dodgy screen, but you get that. Alright, so we're connected. So say I want to do like timing. There's my timing. So all I got to do is the little up and down arrows down here. I can just click them, change my timing, set my timing. Same thing for idle. My car was running really high idle, like terribly high. It was pushing like, you know, this, like 750 when it was in drive. If I put it in drive now, you know, I'm getting about 670, that kind of thing. That's about right. So I can, again, just using the little cursor arrows, I can push my idle up or down or whatever you want. So, you know, amazing little tool. And again, probably the best part, what I bought it for was the self-diagnostics really, but who wouldn't love that data display? Like, I've actually driven around with this, because it's only a small tablet, mounted down on the floor in here, just watching what the car's doing, you know, seeing exactly what it's all up to. But look, that's, you know, the best program I've ever seen for a Nissan Data Scan 2. go online and have a look. It's about $60 Australian, $68, something like that, digital download. One of these cables, I think this one, because I was in a bit of a rush to get a problem I had sorted, so I got one of these cables and I bought it in Australia, and it was 20 bucks. But I know you can get them, you know, direct from China for about $4. But, you know, again, bugger it, you know, support Australia, that kind of thing. And, you know, so yeah, Nissan Data Scan 2. How awesome is that bloody program? Like, you know, do you want some more info out of that car? Well, you know, change these little windows here into whatever you want. And there's about 50 different things you can have on this display. You know, I just picked the ones that I need at the moment just for checking out what I'm doing with the, trying to fix the knock sensor. So, look, there you have it. It's Nissan Data Scan. Cheap as shit. Great little product. And now I've actually got to get back into underneath the dash and try to trick my computer and see if I can get away with the knock sensor problem I've got. And what I thought I'd probably do, because at the moment, like, I don't really want to take my knock sensor out, even though I haven't had one for 2 years. But what I'm thinking is trying to find the harness, because the rats really deep down in there ate the knock sensor cords, like the harness, like the equivalent of, you know, this stuff. They chewed right through it, so when you put a torch down right at the bottom of the engine, you can see the knock sensor, and it looks like it's got a clip on the back of it like one of these, and it's chewed right off. So I haven't been underneath to have a look, but I'm assuming at the back of the block, right at the back of the block, if I get underneath the car, I should be able to find the harness that connects the knock sensor deep in that engine down the back. What I'll probably do is get a new harness for it, get a new knock sensor, leave the one that's in there just where it is, who cares, and I'll probably bolt a new knock sensor onto the block. So I'm just going to move it, like there's a nice bolt in here I can put it on, that's the right size bolt. So I'll just clean that up, and the knock sensor's a little round black sensor with the cord. So the car's still got a knock sensor. What I'm going to do is get one. They're about $103, $105 from Nissan. Same as the T30, so I think it's the Triton 30. I can't remember all the serial numbers at the moment, but I've got it all written down inside somewhere. I can put it on the bottom of the YouTube video if it helps. But yeah, I'm going to relocate my knock sensor and put it up here. It's not going to be as you know, sensitive, I'm sure. But if anything really drastic's going on, like the engine starts, you know, the cylinder starts slapping or something, it'll pick it up. Better than not having one. So yeah, so just a quick update on what's been going on with the 50, and you know, she's cruising along still. Needs a bit of a clean. It's all pretty dirty and had it, but you know, I put 100,000 on it now, and never had a breakdown. And for all these little knock sensor problems and whatever, you know, it's really just me tinkering to want to solve the problem more than anything. So you know, overall, super happy. Elgrand's going strong. Good old Elgrand. I love them. Good cars. And yeah, so there you go, Nissan Data Scan. See you later.